think that it might have been the fact that he was just, wanting to tell a different story right now. And I understand.
Puffy's place was like just filled with chicks and orgying like nonstop, right?
And been very open about mental health issues just know it's okay not to be okay.
One moment. At one of the most exclusive parties in Hollywood, and it changed everything. A mentor approaches his former student across a room full of celebrities with fire in his eyes. No cameras, no phones, no witnesses willing to go on record. But the room felt it. And 4 days later, the entire internet did too. Here is the question nobody is asking. Why would a man that powerful be that angry at someone who simply stopped talking to him? Let's set the scene. March 15th, 2026. The Oscars are over, and in Hollywood, when the main show ends, the real show begins. Beyonce and Jay-Z host their annual Gold Party at Chateau Marmont in West Hollywood. No phones allowed. Strictly A-list only. Taylor Swift is there, Timothée Chalamet, Michael B. Jordan, Kylie Jenner, Emma Stone. The kind of room where you do not make a scene. You simply do not. And yet, for the first time in nearly 4 years, 2 men end up in the same space. A mentor and his most famous student. One of them walks up to the other with something burning behind his eyes. What happens next gets reported 4 days later by TMZ, and the internet has not stopped talking since. To understand why this moment hit the way it did, you have to understand who these 2 men are to each other, and more importantly, what they both know. Usher Raymond, Grammy-winning R&B legend, one of the best-selling artists of all time, a man who, at the height of his career, discovered a scrawny kid from Stratford, Ontario, and helped turn him into a global phenomenon. Justin Bieber, the most famous teenager in the world at his peak, a boy who went from YouTube covers to sold-out arenas before he was old enough to drive. The story the world was sold was simple. Usher the mentor, Justin the protégé. A music industry fairy tale. But fairy tales have endings, and this one ended badly.
Here is what TMZ reported.
At Beyoncé's Afterparty, Usher approached Justin, and according to sources connected to Justin's camp, he came with energy and anger. The two got into what multiple outlets described as a heated exchange. Some sources said it nearly turned physical. Others, specifically people close to Justin, said there was no physical contact whatsoever. Just 2 men raising their voices in front of some of the most famous faces on earth. Celebrity gossip account Deux Moi stepped in shortly after, clarifying that the confrontation was less explosive than early reports suggested, that Justin simply chose not to engage, that he blanked the man entirely. Justin's representatives gave TMZ an official statement. There was no physical altercation. That was the line. But here is what you need to pay close attention to. They did not say Usher did not approach him. They did not say Usher was not angry. They only denied the physical part. Everything else? Confirmed by omission. And Usher? Total silence. Not a word. Not a denial. Not a clarification. Just nothing. That silence is the most important detail in this entire story. But here is the thing. This moment did not start at Chateau Marmont. It started years earlier. In February 2024, Usher headlined the Super Bowl halftime show, the biggest stage in music. He invited Justin to come out and perform with him. Justin said no. Flat out, no hesitation. Usher addressed it publicly, trying to stay composed. He said there was no love lost, that they would do something together in the future. He sounded reasonable. He sounded like a mentor who understood. But something shifted after that. But that wasn't the strange part. In 2025, Justin went quiet in a different way. He started unfollowing people. His longtime manager, Scooter Braun, gone. His business manager, Lou Taylor, founder of TriStar Management, is gone. And then one morning, Usher looked at his phone and saw it too. Justin had unfollowed him. No statement, no explanation, no goodbye. Just gone. Now, Lou Taylor is not a random name in this story. She is the same person who managed Britney Spears during her conservatorship years. And TriStar, her company, was named in documentation connected to the Diddy trial, allegedly involved in payments to some of Diddy's associates. File that away. We are coming back to it. On top of the social media purge, reports started emerging that Usher had allegedly been skimming extra percentages from Justin's deals throughout their professional relationship, taking a larger cut than what had been agreed upon. And when Justin pieced it together, according to these reports, he felt betrayed in the deepest possible way. Because this was not a random business manager. This was the man who was supposed to be his big brother, the man who found him, the man who was supposed to protect him. But here is what the mainstream coverage keeps glossing over. The real reason this story cuts so deep has almost nothing to do with money. It goes back much further, to a different mentor, a different era, and a different child who was handed over to someone he should never have been near. To understand Justin's silence toward Usher, you have to understand Usher's silence about something else entirely. Usher Raymond was sent to live with Sean Combs, known at the time as Puff Daddy, when Usher was just 14 years old. It was called a camp, a mentorship, an industry rite of passage, and Usher has spoken about it himself. In a 2016 interview with Howard Stern, he described what he saw inside Diddy's home.
Puffy's place was like just filled with chicks and orgying like nonstop, right?
Nah, not really. I mean, but hey, it was curious. I got a chance to see some things.
Yeah, but you were 13. What were you seeing?
I went there to see the lifestyle.
Right.
And I saw it. And it was but I don't know if I could indulge and understand what I was even looking at. It was pretty wild.
So nobody tried to, some woman didn't come along.
I didn't say that.
Okay.
I didn't say that. What I did say is that there were very curious things taking place.
Uh-huh.
And I didn't necessarily understand it.
Uh-huh.
Biggie Smalls was there.
Biggie Smalls was there.
14 years old. You're a dad now. Would you ever send your kid to Puffy camp?
Hell no.
See?
He called the things he witnessed curious. He said he was not sure he fully understood what he was looking at. He was 14 years old. Now fast forward several years. Usher, now a star in his own right, brings a 12-year-old Justin Bieber into that same world, into those same rooms, around those same people. And there is video evidence of Diddy, on camera, announcing that a 15-year-old Justin Bieber would be with him for 48 hours. Doing things, Diddy said, that could not be disclosed. The clip spread across the internet when Diddy's legal troubles began mounting, and viewers did not react to it well. Sean Combs is now in federal custody, convicted on charges related to sex trafficking. And Justin Bieber, according to multiple outlets, is reportedly disgusted by the Diddy allegations and wants all association with that chapter of his life buried permanently. So now ask yourself this. When Justin goes quiet, when he unfollows Usher, when he refuses to perform at the Super Bowl, when he walks away from everyone connected to that era of his life, is that rude? Or is that something else entirely? And this is where the story gets complicated. Singer and industry whistleblower Jaguar Wright sat down with a YouTube channel called Real Life Productions and made a claim that stopped a significant portion of the internet cold. Now, and this matters, what she said is an allegation. It has not been proven in court, but it is a part of this conversation, and you deserve to know what she said. Jaguar Wright claimed that Usher held a form of temporary legal guardianship over Justin Bieber during a certain period of his career, and she alleged that Usher transferred that guardianship to Diddy for those 48 hours. She said Justin's original management had been blocking Diddy's attempts to get access to Justin, and that Usher stepped in, promised to look after him, and then handed him over anyway. Then she asked a question that is very difficult to walk away from. Why would Usher publicly say he would never leave his own children around Diddy, but thought it was acceptable to leave a 15-year-old Justin Bieber with him for 2 days? Usher has not responded to this claim. Not publicly, not privately, not even indirectly. Nothing. But in 2024, right as the Diddy scandal was exploding across every platform, Usher deleted his entire Twitter account. His team said it was hacked. A lot of people did not believe that. The timing was exact. And now, at Beyoncé's Afterparty, the same man who has said nothing about any of this walks up to Justin Bieber with anger in his eyes. Think about that. Not sadness, not an attempt to reconnect. Anger. The only reason a powerful man approaches someone with anger instead of guilt is because he is afraid. Afraid of what that person knows. Afraid of what that person might one day decide to say. Comment below. Do you think Justin is right to cut these people off completely? Or does he owe Usher a conversation? Tell me what you actually think. The music industry has always sold us a specific story. The discovery, the mentorship, the rise. A legend finds a diamond in the rough, and the world falls in love with both of them. But what happens when that story starts to fall apart? What happens when the protégé grows up and decides he no longer owes his mentor anything? What happens when silence is no longer enough to keep certain truths buried? The confrontation at Chateau Marmont was not just two men having a bad night. It was a collision between someone who wants to move forward and someone who desperately needs the past to stay quiet. If the music industry's most powerful figures can no longer count on loyalty from the people they once controlled, what does that mean for every story that has not yet been told? And who else is choosing silence right now? Not out of loyalty, but out of survival.